What's going
What's up?
on, Bills Mafia? Welcome to Believe in Bills. This is, of course, Ruben Brown segment, ISO Block with Ruben Brown, and we have the legend himself in the building. Ruben, how you doing today, man?
I'm great. I'm fired up for the upcoming game. The week off from the Bills is, have me anxious and anxiety. I got to talk to my therapist, man. Okay. Get me over the hump.
Absolutely. It's always a little rough going into the bye week, when your team doesn't play, but our team happened to bless us with a gift by beating the team that was in contention for the best team in the NFL, quite frankly.
Right.
And the Bills look like the Super Bowl, contender that they are. And throughout the first 6 weeks of the season, look quickly, we could just tell me about what you thought of the Bills' first 6 weeks. In the first couple quarter or a little more than quarter of the season.
I was they left me excited. The only time I was a little nervous about the Buffalo Bills as an overall team was when they went down to Miami and they suffered so many injuries. Obviously, there were some other injuries scattered around, but it really seemed like it really decimated the team. And what made me feel great about the Bills through this early stretch here is they've been able to find second team players or backup players or players that weren't slotted to start the season or what they were expecting as a healthy team to be, and these guys are plugged in. DBs mainly, a few linemen here and there moving around, and they've come away with wins. And a lot of teams, when you make those types of substitutions, lose those type of players, no matter if you do have a Josh Allen and a Von Miller, the rest of it isn't enough to support them, and they lose games. But the Bills haven't, and they made it through that stretch, and the bye week came at a great time for them to rejuvenate themselves, recondition themselves, get healthy as best you can in the NFL season right now. Because
Yeah,
everybody,
absolutely.
they're going to be banged up. But
Yeah, for sure.
I'm happy and excited about what they showed overall, defense, offense, special teams, you name it, because they've had significant injuries and been able to overcome them and be that contended team that we believe they are.
Yeah, like you said, they've had these major injuries, and teams typically might drop a game if they lose, some contenders or really good players a part of their starting lineup. But the Bills have not only beat teams, but they've dominated teams and they've beaten the best teams, so it makes it look even better. But you just said it, going into week 6 versus the Chiefs, they look like a mostly healthy team. Of course, you're never going to be fully healthy at any point during the middle of the regular season. But, for it to be week 6, for us to have faced so many injuries, we only had one or two players, including Tre'Davious White, that sat out. Now coming into week 7, getting a bye, and week 8 approaching, how beneficial is it for those players to get that extra rest?
It's huge because they're not going to have any other weeks. I mean, other than a bye week leading into the playoffs, where they're going to have a week of rest where they can put their feet up and get extra treatment and not have the worries of going back on the field and playing the next week coming up. So this is huge, to be as fresh as you can possibly be for the rest of this stretch. What is it, an 11-game stretch going forward? And they pulled off what, they're 6-1 right now.
5-1.
5-1 right now. I'm jumping ahead, but I've heard other people say, that there's no reason this team could end up with like 14-3. You know what I mean? At the worst, I don't really think they should be losing any more games, and that falls under the category of the things that could cost them. And the most glaring thing that could cost them that has popped up through the early part of the season is the turnovers. But the team is so powerful. I mean, they like overcome them. They make a mistake, and the other teams making way more than them. And even the turnovers, the interceptions that have happened, the Bills are so powerful, they just come back from it. So that's dangerous. And they'll be healthy and playing as many of their starters as projected. So that makes them really tough.
Turnovers, and I think weather has been another major
Yeah.
factor in terms of Bills' fluky losses. You had I don't know about the Colts game last year where they
Yeah.
just ran through us. I don't know if it was because of the rain, but I mean it certainly contributed. But that was a game.
The snow game, New
Yeah,
England.
yep,
Yeah.
the
These
wind
things
game,
can
and
hurt
then
because it's a high power. Yeah.
the hot weather in Miami. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So before we get into deeper into this conversation, my guy Vince Taylor, who is a part of our network over at Buffalo Fan Base, he has a question. He says, "Where do you think the Bills can upgrade?" He says he doesn't really think that there's anywhere like on their rosters of right now that's super obvious, but he wants to know from the Hall of Fame legend himself.
Yeah.
What you thinking?
I've been seeing this pop up as a question all around, like the different speculation because this is happening because the trade deadline is right around the corner, and everyone's speculating what could you add to this Buffalo Bills team to make it better. I would just say more bodies, more healthy, capable bodies. And it's really hard to do that at this right point in time because the Bills have their people. And to go bring in someone else's people, I think you really have to have a lot of background knowing that, hey, we're specifically going to grab this guy because this guy understands what's happening over here and we can bring him in and he can add some depth. I don't see a need to go out and get another Von Miller, another Stephon Diggs, running back, a stretch, receive. I mean, where it really matters now and going into the home stretch and being a championship team is that depth. I mean, add some depth to all the positions if you can. Offensive line, fullback, running back. We only have one fullback, so you can pick up one more. D-line, you always need more big guys. People don't understand. You need as many big guys as you could possibly use. But listen here, I don't want to start getting in Brandon Beane's way and making too many suggestions because the man's doing a damn good job. You know what I mean? So who am I to sit back and armchair quarterback this thing when he's got the leg, he's right there on the ground. He knows the tempo of the team. And you see that they make the moves if they need them. They go get what they need if they need it. And if they don't see a need for any particular player, they may already have the people they want in-house right now through draft picks or whatever. They put the team together now, so they could be happy. And I wouldn't be mad at them, if they don't touch anybody in the trade market. I'd be excited if, maybe I don't know what high-profile guy would even be worth us even. We in the driver's seat. Bill's in the driver's seat, so there's nothing that they need right now. There's no need for them. They can want, and maybe. And you know what your parents say about want and need. Two different things.
Absolutely are. You look at Brandon Beane and the culture he's created, and not only that, but just the way he values players like that.
Yeah.
His scouting team is second to none.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Like the way they scout, the way they can find, value in draft picks and players who come out and become starting cornerbacks for the number one secondary or number two secondary in NFL. Like Exactly like Vince said, A+, there's no need. He has done plenty for this team,
Yeah.
and I mean, he's already built. I think it's fair to say through 6 weeks at least, one of the best teams in NFL history. I mean, the numbers are
Hands
there,
down. They're putting the
So
numbers up. They
exactly,
definitely putting the numbers up in every area that gives them the right to argue that. Every Buffalo Bills fan has the right to argue how great they believe the Buffalo Bills are compared to anything else that's out there now or has been. So um, this is exciting for us, fans. We get to talk about our winning team. But Brandon Beane them have done. We have to applaud them for the great job they've done. I mean, it reminds me of stuff that you've seen the Pittsburgh Steelers did in the past, and other teams that have been able to smart wise build through the draft and add an addition here and there. Don't break the bank or upset the apple cart just to bring in one player. Build a complementary group, and that's what they done.
absolutely, for sure. You also mentioned, well, let's look forward to this weekend, right? We have the Green Bay Packers coming into town. Maybe the best quarterbacks in NFL history. Maybe one of them is
Yeah.
definitely one of the best in NFL history. One of them looks like he is well on his way, right?
Yeah.
And you look at how a great quarterback and how they utilize their weapons, right? One of the more unorthodox weapons that the Buffalo Bills have is number 41 fullback Reggie Gilliam.
Yeah.
How important do you think he is to this offense? What special, abilities or, things does he bring to this offense?
I think he adds that vulnerability. I mean, I would say he makes defenses vulnerable because now they have to prepare for so many things that the Bills do well, not just do it just to show it to you. They actually have a fullback that can get into free spaces and catch the ball. Which what team is using a fullback today? I mean, that is
49ers are, and that's the only one I could think of. They use Kyle Juszczyk, and that's about it.
and this is what I
Oh, Pat
compare.
Ricard in Baltimore
Yeah,
as well.
this is what I compare an NFL fullback to right now. It's like a Major League Baseball player, pitcher that throws a knuckleball. And if anybody knows anything about baseball, a knuckleball is slow and it seems like it's a softball, and anybody should be able to hit this thing, but you can't. It's hard to hit, and you can't make a living throwing the knuckleball, but you can make a living keep in with it in your arsenal if you follow what I'm saying. So Gilliam is a knuckleball in the arsenal. With a fullback, you can get very aggressive with the run game. It's very useful down in the red zone. A lot of teams like to spread out and then and use that as a way to get the ball down the field or find lanes or find mismatches. So Gilliam is a part of the past that's useful in the present. And past meaning people don't use fullbacks anymore, and it's being crazy like a fox, really. Yeah,
Crazy like a fox. Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean? I got a fullback, okay. And I was hearing Thurman Thomas talk about this aspect of a fullback, and this is 100% true. And I don't that it's weird how things turn around and cycles go. At the fullback position, there are certain plays that for some reason no one ever covers the fullback. They never cover the fullback because they think he can't catch or, you know. And I know I played with two of the greatest fullbacks that ever played the game, Larry Sanders, Sam Gash. And both of them had hands like a baby when they were, as far as catching the ball. And Sam Gash was a monster blocker. He was like another offensive lineman. And Larry Sanders would be ideal for the Buffalo Bills right now. A guy that could block and the fullback run out there and catch like a receiver.
Talk about opening the gaps.
Yeah,
That boy could go.
And I think if you don't remember us remember when we spoke with Carlton Banks? He kind of alluded to that is a place where defenses are vulnerable because they have more of cover linebackers. And, they're not expecting to cover another linebacker that can run and hit and catch. They might be used to a few of these running backs in these little slot DBs, but Reggie's a hefty dude. 260 ain't small, 6 foot. You know what I mean? Just let him get in your way as far as blocking, and then you make the mistake of letting him catch the ball, turn around, get a full head of steam, you getting a first down or a touchdown. So I think he's a dangerous weapon to add to the already dangerous arsenal, which is going to scare the teams even more. Here, our slot receiver catches the ball. Our tight end catches the ball. Our number one catches everything. Our number two catches everything. I mean, how many positions I just said? Like fullback, tight end, and the 3 receivers all catch 5 people catch the ball. And Josh ain't afraid to drop it on all of them. And
don't forget the running backs.
And having confidence to get it to all of them. Unlike, I switch gears here a little bit. Our opponent coming up, they throwing the ball everywhere and nobody catching it. You see what I'm saying? I'm sure Aaron Rodgers wish he had the stable athletes that the Bills are working with. But I am 100% on the Reggie Gilliam. If am I saying it right? Gilliam or
Gilliam.
Gilliam. But I love fullbacks. That's some of my favorite thing. Hey, listen, the show, I call things the ISO block. And the ISO block is nothing without a good fullback, because that fullback is that guy to come and lay the wood and help open that hole with the offensive lineman. So I get excited when I see Reggie get the ball. I'm pumped. I'm like, yeah, they're using him more because they don't expect it. You know what I mean? And then once the teams start expecting him and looking for him, now you're going to take your focus off of one of these other guys that we can easily drop the ball to. You don't watch the fullback all the time. The tight end going to get you in the slot, going to get you. And we forget about the fullback. All right, we got a guy that can be rugged in that game. And I want to see him more, but you don't have to. We got 10 games to see more of him. So I don't say this in the sense of let's start seeing the I formation every time. No, that ain't the Bills. But they can give you that tight end fullback formation, and they got some runs there, and they got a lot of passes there. So change the positioning up for the DBs, how they had to cover and come down and insert and all that. That complicates all the work that the defense has to do. So I think the most important thing here is that all we're talking about, the versatility that using the fullback. You can't use the fullback if he ain't no good. All right? And we talking about the guy because he's good. You know what I mean? Surprisingly good, because nobody expects a fullback. Especially with the Buffalo Bills team, because we're high-powered, get down the field. And it's a reason we only got one. We don't have 2, 3, 4 fullbacks. We got one. And hopefully, my fingers crossed. I'm on this fan page. I think I'm a follower. So
okay, all right, yeah. So
I'm all down with Gilliam.
Reggie Gilliam. Yeah, I mean, you look at it as you could tell that Dayball and McDermott or whoever, wanted to include fullbacks in their the new regime because they tried to make Pat DeMarco happen.
Yeah.
And you know, Reggie Gilliam is a really special player, and he's in a special position because he has the propensity to run the ball. You know, he can run the ball. They
Yeah.
don't ask him to do it very much, but he can. He's a
Right.
big body, like you said,
Yeah.
and he's a former tight end, so he can catch. So
Yeah.
now, you know, when you talk about Josh Allen throwing a 60-yard pass to a fullback, that guy was a tight end. So
Yeah. Yeah. You
you
got
know what I
respect.
mean? Exactly. So Reggie Gilliam is a really, really interesting player. I feel like he's one of those Swiss Army knives where it's kind of like you don't know what to expect from 41. We've already seen him break 4 tackles to get a touchdown. We
Yeah.
see him, you know, he's great at lead blocking. You know, hey man, I'm really it's cool to be a Bills fan and get to witness, because you know how like you'll watch Sports Center and they're like, oh, great offensive mind, genius,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all this other stuff. Oh, who uses, you know,
Yeah.
Kyle Juszczyk like this? But now we're the team, you know, that's using
Yeah.
these guys, you
That's
know, in
it.
very interesting ways, and it's really cool. But let's go ahead and get deeper into the game, right? We're talking about 2 of maybe the best that have ever done it. Aaron Rodgers coming in. He is a first ballot. The first time he's able to smell the ticket, he's making the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You know, maybe the most talented quarterback that's ever lived. First of all, what are your thoughts on who Aaron Rodgers is as a player and his entire legacy?
Oh man, tremendous legacy. Type of quarterback you would want on your team. If you didn't have Josh Allen, you want Aaron Rodgers. Let's face it. The team could be bad around him, which it is right now, and maybe he's not playing MVP football because he's last year's MVP. The Bills have this year's MVP, so that's the case. Now, what has Rodgers been all of these years he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, hands down. You know, one of the greatest to ever do it. He has the credentials and numbers. You get excited knowing that a guy like that is on the field. It raises the competition level of everyone out there on the field because, you know, people are looking at him for his greatness. All right, why are they looking at him? Well, look at me too. You know what I mean? I'm out here with him, you know, so he rises like the saying I've been saying, rising tide raises our boats. So he does that for the players and coaches. I've once heard Alex Van Pelt brag about how good he was as a coach, and Jim Kelly leaned over to me while we were at the dinner, and Jim goes, "Yeah, you could be that way when Aaron Rodgers is your quarterback."
Hey, I mean, you know, you look at Nathaniel Hackett, he just got a job based on coaching Aaron Rodgers.
There you go.
You know, so and he clearly is not,
No,
he's not ready for it. So, you know, Aaron Rodgers
but
can get you places.
when you work with a guy like him, see what's happening. Coaches are being recognized as being good when you work with Aaron Rodgers because they know he's played the game at a high level. He has had a high level of success. It doesn't in the NFL. We know it doesn't always mean that you win all the Super Bowls that Tom Brady has won, but he's just as respected, maybe more so, you know, in different areas. You know, everyone. I mean, I'm a fan of him because of great play. You know what I mean? I respect great players. You know, so I ain't gonna hate on him. I don't like his team. I got even extra reasons because I've played in Chicago, but I can respect the players. You know what I mean? So I respect them. I respect his career, and I don't have to respect him, but I do. You know what I mean? No one has to, but he's done it. He's proven it. You would want him on your team if you didn't have Josh Allen. Put it that way.
Fair enough. But this weekend, you get to have Josh Allen versus Aaron Rodgers. Sunday Night Football. This is the national stage. We saw what the Bills did last time on the national stage. The last 2 times on the national stage, they absolutely thumped their opponents, being the Titans and the Rams. Now this one, Aaron Rodgers, the Packers ain't looking so hot, Rube. They ain't
No.
looking so hot. They're coming in, I believe, what is it, 3-4?
Yeah.
First time that Aaron Rodgers has been under 500 through 6 weeks
Mm-hmm.
in the season. It's not looking great. You talked about it. He's throwing the ball all over the yard, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not
No
getting,
plan.
it's not connecting. Devontae, he signed that contract. He signed that contract knowing Devontae Adams would be leaving. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, did he dig his own grave? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
First of all, okay,
I
yeah,
think it went two ways. I think what we see is, Green Bay, I think they may have been going in a different direction and rethought their direction after a few minutes. I think they thought for a hot second, whoever the new management is, I know all that's been a turmoil, may have literally thought about saying, hey, let's sell and go somewhere else. I mean, who drafts a backup quarterback as high as they do when you have Aaron Rodgers on the field and potential contracts? So that's a whole big long discussion that everybody them talked about. But the Green Bay Packers just aren't together all as a team organization. It's not the Green Bay Packers are old. They are very vulnerable. So much so, I feel bad for Aaron Rodgers because I think he get hurt. And in this game in particular, I look at this game now. Justice, you probably definitely weren't born when Muhammad Ali fought Larry Holmes. All right, now Muhammad Ali in this instance is like Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers was great champion. Everybody love him. Turn the TV on. There's your guy selling everything. Everybody love him. But then here is the Buffalo Bills over here, Josh Allen. That's Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes, young, used to train with Muhammad Ali, right? Used to train Muhammad Ali before he used to go do his thing. And young Larry Holmes now has a vicious jab that will tear you, tear you to pieces. And he's one of the greatest boxers of all time. And he had to go in and fight as an idol. And he almost killed that man. And it was sad to see.
I wasn't expecting that. Okay.
Yeah, he almost killed him.
Did rope a dope out of that one?
I think they had to beg Muhammad not to come out and fight no more because Muhammad was going to keep coming and fight. But Holmes, he was the man. He was a monster. After Muhammad Ali, people couldn't mess with him. You know what I mean? So I think this is what you're about to see. Aaron Rodgers is going to get hurt. He's not, and I don't say this in a negative way like I want anybody to get hurt or anything, but football is a rough and rugged sport. And if you don't have support out there, man, they like a pack of wild dogs over there. And the Bills are a very young, hungry team that wants a championship. Aaron Rodgers had a championship and is struggling to save face and still be great. But there's a new kid on the block, and that's the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are very young, very strong, very energetic. And the Green Bay Packers, as a team, while Aaron Rodgers has never come to Buffalo and won. And they've been there, 6 times over the years that Aaron's been playing? And they haven't pulled that win off for several different other coaches and different people, and they definitely can't come in against what's going on. This ain't no prediction. This is just fact. I mean, Green Bay could not beat Washington Commanders last week, which was their game to win. You can't. Now, Justice, don't get me wrong. We say on this show often that each team is a pro team, and there's potential. They get it together. I actually think I heard Steve Tasker say this. By Green Bay losing against Washington, there's a more sense of urgency that could possibly make them a dangerous matchup for the Buffalo Bills. And this is where I want to take it a little further than what Steve said. The dangerous part comes in because the Bills had a bye week last week. Now, rest is all good, but momentum is also a thing. And when you get you got to win, then you sit on the win before you get going again. You like, this might be Green Bay's easier for them to be a little bit more fired, sense of urgency. So I can see that. I can definitely see that. But all the other things that I've seen just makes the Bills just too strong. They Larry Holmes, and this
So
is
that's a valid point that you just
yeah.
brought up about the Bills coming off of a bye, and therefore maybe they might, kind of be lackadaisical. You're coming up against a team that hasn't looked really good, and when you're watching film, you're like, oh, these guys suck. You know what I mean? But is it anything, to it being prime time, to be Sunday night, like you're on the big stage and you're at home, you're in front of your people, coming off of a bye, does it make it less consequential when you're in like such a big stage and a big moment?
I think coming off a bye, you get a little bit more hyped up, because football players are anxious to play week to week. Once you get started, it's tough
Creatures of
to take
habit.
the time, just sit for a week and then go back. I've had the experience both ways. One year we had a bye in Chicago and we lost our playoff game because we had a bye. Somehow, I forget. Anyway, we lost a playoff game. But then another time, just the momentum of our team, we had a bye. It came along right, and we came back and motored through it. So it's really the makeup of your team. Can they keep it going after with different breaks and pauses and injuries and things like that? Because good teams are going to have to do that. You can play Thursday, play Monday, play Sunday, change it up, play Sunday night, play whatever, different time changes, Sunday morning, whatever. All of these different things you're going to have to adjust to throughout the season. And then let me say the biggest one that's way down the line, but all of these factors add up to your performance in the Super Bowl game. That thing is so disjointed and long and short breaks and TV, but you be standing around all day waiting to play 3 snaps, and you're gonna need to be stretched on the sideline. It's a whole different game. Super Bowl is not like regular season game. All right. So these things like bye week and coming in with a team they just really fighting and struggling. These are ways to learn to have all you need from you battle tested, so to speak. And this is a way to become battle test. Come out of the bye week, jump back on it, and keep going.
Yeah, because at this point, chances are, if you continue to play the way you're playing, you're gonna have to do it again at some point.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to come off of a bye and
yeah,
play at home in
yeah,
an even bigger moment.
yeah.
So
Momentum. So start practicing now.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So we'll see what happens with that. Don't quote me on this, but I believe Sean McDermott is undefeated off of a bye. If not, I think he's only lost 1 game. So we'll see what happens with that. But anything else you got for us, Rue, before we get up out of here?
Oh man, I'm all good. I'm just pumped. I'm excited. I can't tell you, man, that I'm like Thurman. I watch all Buffalo Bills stuff. Now I keep my eye on the Bears, but I'm all Buffalo. And unless it start getting close to the Bills about to play them, or then I ain't listening. I ain't listening. I'm just listening to us. And thank you, Justice. I appreciate it, man. One love. Mafia is family.
Absolutely. All right. See you later, Rube. See you
One
guys
love.
later. Thank you so much for tuning in to Believe in Bills. segment ISO Block with Ruben Brown, where we get to listen to what the Hall of Famer has to say. We are out, guys. Go Bills.